Good day, YouTubers, and thank you for tuning in to today's video on YouTube. And yes, I've still got my old computer. It's actually about 10 years old now, considering of just how the heck this thing is. And yes, in making this video, it's actually going to be quite different because, hey, clearly what I'm actually going to be talking about is the performance of this device. And yes, around New Year's Eve, strangely enough, this device here was already re-cleaned and it was added with some sort of new random access memory device. And luckily enough, that was something to compensate throughout the rest of its life. You know, I'm actually so glad that this computer has taken up a bit much more effort. And if you remember back then in summer of 2024, as I'm tidying up a bit more mess here, oh my crockies, this is getting a bit pathetic, eh? Even for today's stupid YouTube. Strangely enough, this computer is straightforward, running a bit much more faster now, but it's straightforward, still a little slow. Interestingly, the computer used to be about 8 gigabytes, now it's increased to about 12 gigabytes. And if I get a new computer, that would probably be taking at least about 16 gigabytes. How crazy is that? And as I'm making this video, it is absolutely frosty outside, as I'm making here. And strangely enough, I'm not about the weather here, which in a sense has been cold and frosty, but it's actually very, very sunny. Look at them blue skies, baby. Woo! But hey, you know, looking at just how, I don't know what I'm actually going to say here, I'm going to come along and do a bit of maintenance here. Just come along and wipe the outer face of the whole computer here, the whole device. So I'm just going to grab some wipes here. I'm only going to be taking just one of them. I've actually got a lot of mess here because I've been doing arts and crafts. And also that's why I've been taking a long time to do a lot of arts and crafts. But yet again, hey, I'm just going to do a bit of meticulous wiping here in this wondrous device. And I'll tell you some of the other things that's also going to be happening as I'm making this video here. And strangely enough, it's one of these things, whether I should make more videos on YouTube is going to be a complete debate, but then who knows, I might put it up in a separate video into why I think 2025 might be a bit of a slightly rough and poor year for my YouTube channel, in the sense that I won't be uploading that much videos. Probably about one, probably as daily as it gets to, but in that sense, let me just compensate with the whole computer theme that I'm going to blabber out throughout the rest of this whole video. And I know the audience would probably find it a little bit tricky because, hey, I normally tend to associate with my YouTube channel, guess what, with a lot of like toy review products here that I've done so far in the past. You know, I've actually had a bit of an analysis of just how good this computer is, and yes, I did notice that my dad was here around New Year's Eve, and luckily enough, this computer is now a bit much more cleaner. And of course, yes, it's probably best to do it for every 4 to 6 months to just get rid of the dust bunnies that are lingering around across through this ring part of the fan. So there's actually quite, you know, a fair bit of dust being taken out. If I take a look at the other side of this computer here, I can see there's slightly a bit of ringing of dust over there, but luckily if it's not that much. So maybe if this is going to be possible, I might as well just come along and wipe the back end of that computer. I don't know what I'm probably saying here, but I won't damage the whole thing. Maybe I'm just going to use the wipe that's already there because, you know, that's the one I've been already using. And strangely enough, the dust is already, it's already present. It's still stuck, but then, hey, you know, I can grab another one to get a much more well-balanced and official clean up. Much more efficient one somehow. Let me just grab another one here. So this is what I've got. And sort of taking out as much dust as possible, as I really can, without even damaging the whole thing. I'm trying to be very careful here because this thing is very expensive, and also this thing is very relatively old. And as you can see, both computer fans are working. I didn't even know that this computer has 2 fans. Or 3 fans. That's actually quite interesting. I'm not really into that big of computer anatomy. Strangely enough, somehow, I can't really remember where my dad put the new random access memory device somewhere, because hey, it should be somewhere in this computer, but hey, I'm not seeing it. And apparently inside there are basically about 3 to 4 hard drives, which can be interchangeable, of course, from one computer to the other. It's amazing somehow with computing. You learn in so many ways, and in so many levels, you learn it as always. If that really rhymes. But hey, you know, I think, let me just double check. Oh yeah, let me just test the lights here on that thing. If I turn this thing out there. Okay, there's blue lights. And there's, of course, the red lights. Look how much, it's a fantastic display. Even works well when it's night time. I rarely ever use these lights, but they are so snazzy looking. And they make it look more like a professional gaming computer. That is just completely and utterly awesome. It would have been working so much well as a Christmas decoration, wouldn't it? I feel like it does. But then, hey, you know, ho-hum. Anyways, strange enough, I can't really tell how old this thing is. Well, in fact, I already said that. Just kidding. But how long have I used this as my personal computer? So let me tell you the story about this. So one thing I've actually forgot to probably put up in a video that I made a statement back then in August of 2024 was that this computer was already given to me by my dad after a bit of a heated debate, after in which my Vista computer has died. So that was back in July of 2022 when it started to crash and the blue screen of death occurred so much rampantly at times. Somehow that was actually the one thing that might have actually caused me not to produce that much videos on that year. But of course, yes, as I already stated, in 2022 I didn't make that much videos, but then, hey, you know, I did. So that's sort of, you know, the fabric of how things are like these days. The thing is, I feel like with devices like this, it's still good. I think the other thing I'm also referring to is, okay, as I'm back doing the computer thing, and I was actually straightforward off topic because I was actually just straightforward thinking of some very good visualized product ideas for my FlipThat channel in order to do toy reviews. And strangely enough, it seems like I feel like I've been lapsing in time, as crazy as this sounds. But there is one other thing I might as well just show you, and that is, of course, not to do with toy making, and it's the internet. So yes, I think in my previous videos, if you may have never noticed, with the sunshine glowing in the background, so if you remember about the part that I just really spoken about the internet of where I live, well, actually, I didn't tell you everything about it. So let me get this straight. So the internet overall has been very sluggishly slow right over my computer. But that wasn't until when my dad decided to bring up a new RAM, or random access memory, right at the bottom here of my computer. And I don't know how the heck he put up with that type of thing, because I'm not really a genius in computing technology, whatever we're going to call it, like that way. But of course, yes, the computer has been running very relatively slow. And it wasn't because of how the internet is like now. So what's actually the root cause is also the computer's age. And I mean, it's not just that, but I have to say, the amount of files I've been storing as part of my Microsoft Paint animation projects that I've actually been using. I've actually got 3 to 4 hard drives that I've got on my computer here. They do compensate the rest of what I really have to contend with. Okay, there's actually basically quite a lot of these things right here. A lot of these, what do you call them? Oh my goodness me, I feel like, hey, as time flies by, man, I feel like I'm going to change the way I animate these days. Clearly that is somehow the way it is now. It is just amazing and how much I've changed. And I mean, it's pretty amazing somehow. It feels like 2024 has become quite a very big year for animating as well too. Not just 2024. I mean, not just 2023, and also the other previous years. I don't know. I feel like I'm just referring to several different years because I just don't know whatever the hell am I talking about, because my throat is absolutely sore because, hey, I've been watching too much rom-com anime. Okay? So, in that case, hey, let me just let me have a bit of a look at here and just see how much gigabytes I've got here on my computer. I don't know how many gigabytes have I got. If I go to PC, it tells you how many gigabytes. Well, my hard drive has actually got a lot much more gigabytes. That's very, very high. Amazingly, the Data E hard drive right there, which is this one right here, has got 736 gigabytes. Now that's the highest. Oh my crockies, I feel like I'm tired, man. But I will be heading outside, even though it's absolutely freezing cold, because I'm about to buy some bird food, because it's freezing cold outside and it's winter time, obviously. But anyways, so with all I can really see somehow with the computer right here, down at the bottom, oops, I think a blue felt tip marker has fallen down to the ground because I was doing arts and crafts. Yeah, it somehow really, I can't really quite record or tell you about the things I've done so far, but whew, man, it's crazy, isn't it? So as I'm looking around on this computer here, it has shown signs of aging, and I mean, it's not the internet's fault, it's actually the computer's aging, and also the amount of memory as well too that I've actually got. So what I might be able to do is I might contend with this. Obviously, this computer here, I don't know how long I can keep it for, but there's even more things I want to chat about this computer in a very dedicated way. You know, one thing I've noticed, if you look at the taskbar right here, it's strange enough, the hallmarks are Windows 10. But if you look at, well, I think if you look at the start menu right here, it's on the left-hand corner on the bottom here. But looking at the latest version of Windows, that being Windows 11, I don't like how today's version of Windows is orientated, because instead of the bottom left corner of where the All Windows icon and where the start menu is, instead they changed it from here to here, I think, so that, I don't know, I think it's there to have a good scope. Well, it does seemingly retain some of the features that Windows 10 seems to have, but I think you can move and chop and change the taskbar or whatever stuff you can do in Windows 11. And let me tell you something about this. The thing is, I'm not going to be replacing this computer with something which is Windows 11. Maybe a newer Windows 10 computer, even though the web browser, well, actually the software is about to disappear in 2026. I might be totally wrong here, right? Maybe 2028. I'm not quite totally sure. It's got a long way to go, considerably that Windows 10 is about 10 years old now, and it's somehow crazy, considering that as we are in 2025, as I'm making this video, it just goes absolutely whoppingly fast. I don't know how much I can really concur with that, but obviously Windows 10 is still quite an amazing piece of software. Very much the improvement of Windows 8 from the entire screw-up what we had back in 2012. And now here we are with Windows 10 and Windows 11. Strangely enough, things have decided to change. The one thing I really don't like about, if I look at Windows 11, is that if you look at Microsoft Paint, the best part about Windows 10 is you just have everything. It's very similar to how Windows 7 has got. Same with Windows 8, but then Windows 8 has got a very totally different portfolio, which is something I really hate, because it looks more like a tablet. Anyways, so best part about this is that you can just draw pictures and other whatnot. But then the one thing I really like about Windows 10 is that it does not blur the images, the interpolation of images on Windows 10. But on Windows 11, if I type on Windows, let me just type in Microsoft Paint without looking at the taskbar, because I need to keep my search very private without showing you in a millisecond. And of course, here is something that I really don't like about Windows 11. And of course, the one thing I really don't like is the manipulation of Windows 11's versions of Microsoft Paint. And it's mainly to do with small images, which are also harder to manipulate and work with in newer versions of Paint, as it automatically blurs images when they are resized or recopied. That's... Give me a flipping break. Like, I really don't like the newer version of Microsoft Paint built in for Windows 11. Like, I've got a Windows 10 version of Microsoft Paint, and I'm so glad I've got it because, hey, mind you, if Windows 11 was here, of course, hey, that is that's very much, you know, the thing I really don't like about the Windows 11 version of Microsoft Paint is that it keeps on blurring images and stuff. Like, this is something very bad. Like, there's a lot of interpolation algorithms used on Paint. No, it's just absolutely stupid. Like, I'm sorry if I'm sounding dyslexic, but, like, I don't like the way Paint is, like, today, because it seemingly feels more like a clone of, like, Procreate or Ibis Paint or whatever. I really don't like the way it's been made to a standard, which actually looks more like this. And actually, I prefer Microsoft Paint when it's actually looking a lot much more like that. Okay, so with tools like this is just good enough. Okay, even though I don't use the Paint version, or the 3D version of Paint. Obviously, I don't use that for that purpose because, hey, it's even more harder to manipulate 3D images into something that is a 2D masterpiece. Like, I don't use it for that purpose. Okay, sorry if I have to rant here, but that's what I have to really say here. Anyways, so, okay, what I do know about Microsoft Paint is that it's been around for basically a long time, and it really has, and all of that other whatnot, but hey, clearly that's just the way it is. But hey, let me just go back to my computer and see how it's like. Of course, yes, I do know that this computer has been showing signs of love and showing signs of aging, but then, hey, I can really tell you how much gigabyte, how much memory I've got. It's quite amazing, and seeing how much data I've been using into. It's quite amazing. I feel like, hey, what I might do is have a bit of an analysis of my control panel. Sorry, I've just burped. But yes, hey, I'm just striving to take a look at the rest of my computer and see how many gigabytes and see how much capacity I've got. Because I am somehow quite curious of just how much I'm going to look at. Like, how much, I don't know, it's quite weird, I'm really surprised of just how much I've kept. This device here, this is just amazing. And who knows, I need to take a look at how much stuff have I got so far here in this computer that I've got. It's just really amazing. And I don't know whatever the hell am I looking at, but hey, let me just take a look at how many gigabytes this computer has got now, because hey, it seems like that even though I'm just feeling out of context, it's crazy. And here are some of the little apps, or some of the big apps here. I might as well uninstall that. Who knows, I might as well just get rid of that thing, because hey, and I'm not going to show you the password here, because the password is always straightforward covered up, and I'm just straightforward making room so that I don't want to try and it's very best to get rid of. Oh, that's weird, I can't uninstall that thing here. That's weird, isn't it? But overall, there's actually quite a few programs that I've decided, well, I do keep this computer in good shape. The amount of data I've used, the most common wise, is Google Chrome and YouTube and Microsoft Edge, even though I use Chrome that much because it's more like my standard type of web browser thing, search engine. And I don't know how many gigabytes. I might have to take a look at, the statistics of my computer. If I go to properties and take a look at how much gigabytes I have a look at the system here. 12 gigabytes, 11.2 gigabytes usable. There you go, the system here. There's the installed memory, RAM, random access memory. That's quite good somehow. Let me just take a look at this one here, the local disk, and see how many gigabytes. 194 gigabytes. So, amazingly, the computer that I've got runs for about 12 gigabytes, but it's got like 3 hard drives, and it's actually interchangeable with other computers as well. So that makes it as a complete bulky. Like, this is actually amazing. You know, it can actually store as much stuff. You know, a little bit like a blue whale. If you ask me, like a digital blue whale. How crazy is that? Obviously, it's amazing, and you can see how much free space I've got and how much used space I have. It's amazing. I've actually got lots of it, but I haven't got that much on the other two hard drives. It's not going to impact the way the computer is going to be like. Even though I've got a new random access memory on my computer here, it does not change the speed of the entire computer itself. So the computer might still run a little bit slower, but hey, at the same time, might actually be a bit stable in terms of speed. So who knows, it could run just a tad faster. Well, who knows, time will always tell, as time literally flies relatively by, as we're actually in the year 2025. In fact, we're taking a dive in 2025. Sorry for the rhyming, but hey, I would like to give it a bit of eye candy and a bit of fun here, eh? This one here, it seems to be in the way of, like, emptiness and stuff, and this is how I keep my files and stuff. Obviously, I do take a look at properties and see how much used space and stuff like that. And if I go to pictures, is it in the local disk? I can't really remember. What I can do is take a look at properties, and obviously, I don't know how much I could really see. Somehow, if I have a look at this, it's about 4.68 gigabytes, 4.69 gigabytes. It's not that bad somehow, hey, whenever you think about it. It's quite a nice update so far for web browsing software. Noticing that, so hey, it's actually not too bad for a computer. And hey, I've actually stood the test of time of just archiving some of the little pictures. Some of them are quite relatively funny, but I think what I should do is try and get rid of some of these Logitech webcams, some of these pictures that I've kept. And guess what, I've also kept quite a lot of, like, pictures from, let's just say, a long time ago via Windows 10, and these are fairly amazing pictures to look at, and somehow they are absolutely amazing. And I tell you what, I've kept a lot of these pictures I've done so far. They're in 2024, and they are absolute must-haves of a computer that I've been using. It's somehow quite fantastic in that way. I've actually archived so much of these, and I put them into a separate file. Somehow, that's actually amazing to see why, and that is somehow amazing. You know, I've kept that amount of much so that I can just straightforward leave it the way it is. And for that purpose, that's actually really amazing. And weird part is, if I go to properties, about 516 kilobytes, size on disk 600 kilobytes. I think the size on the disk is a tad bigger, and it's a bit different to how I look at it. If I look at downloads, oh my goodness, look how many megabytes I've actually got. Whoa! That's a lot, 153 to 154 gigabytes. That's massive. The more files I seem to implement, the more the computer might start to strain in terms of speed, and the more in the way of, like, lag and stuff like that. But hey, you know, I'm quite an expert on analyzing stuff of what gets, you know, how would I say this? What gets being discreted, what gets being organized, what gets being, you know, kept in a very good purpose. But hey, that's it. So I might as well just straightforward end the video here. Sorry for the utter rough and ready speaking here, because I was just busy doing a whole bunch of arts and crafts, and it would have actually taken away my power of speaking. But hey, you know, any other time, any other video could somehow get potentially better, no matter whatever the hell I look at. So I might as well just straightforward leave this video here. So if you really enjoyed so far my YouTube video of late, please give this video a good like, subscribe for more for that videos in the future, and as always, thanks so much for watching, and bye for now. And at least I didn't talk about my new computers, because hey, if I did start talking about new computers, well then I can probably put that up in a separate video and see how that works. But then hey, I need to get busy doing more videos on YouTube in relationship into toy reviews. Actually, I might as well just keep on going. Well, yes, I was going to be featuring like new computers and old computers on this video here, but I just felt like I just don't have the time for it. But then, hey, you know, why the hell do I have to ho-hum along the way here? I'm just putting a very long, out-of-context clip for my YouTube channel so I can make videos which don't actually make very much sense on my YouTube channel these days. And clearly, this could be a good sign that maybe 2025 could be the start and the decay of my YouTube channel. But then, hey, clearly this might be the opposite. Oh well.